Hello there, viewer. Does your Ornn look like this? And also maybe worse than this piece of shit that I have here? Well, I have the fix for you. I have been mastering Ornn for the past 3 months. I was trying a lot of builds. I was trying Yaksho second. I was trying Lockets. I experimented. I cooked a lot. Went through a lot of pain and suffering. Some of you were there to see it. I now know the build. I got Challenger. I'm now washed up. Thank fucking God. And I'm here to tell you all the changes happened this season and what will be the best Ornn build and just overall guide for the season for the remaining future. Sorry, microphone, I slapped you. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. For the items last season, the main build was Sunfire, Yaksho, Sunfire, Radiant. Now we have a new addition, which is Hollow Radiance, and it's terrible. Never build it. Hollow Radiance, out of all the new items, the only good one is Ornn, and that's it. So your main build is gonna be not Yaksho, second, as an upgrade. Your actual upgrade will be Heartsteel, because it gives a lot of HP. It gives like 1.2k now. They buffed it twice at the start of the season, and it synergizes really well with Sunfire and Ornn. So you have Sunfire, Heartsteel, Ornn. You're not gonna die to physical damage. You're not gonna die to magical damage. You're not gonna die to anything except maybe Bork. But we have a fix for that. We have plated steel caps and we have chain vest, which can build into Yaksho. The Yaksho is still buildable, but it is situational because sometimes Randuins might be better. It's only good in games where Randuins is bad, and Frozen Heart 4th honestly sucks. I don't no longer build Frozen Heart unless they have a lot of lethal tempo users, and I don't like Sunfire and I don't like Yaksho, so it's only built second item. Frozen Heart later in the game is not that great because once people get a lot of attack speed steroids, like they have a lot of attack speed, the difference becomes very little. So my only Wardens item right now is Randuins. So you'd build Yaksho in spots where there is a solo AP, and you would just build the chain vest and sit on the Negatron cloak. And little pro tip, do not buy the ruby crystal when you're building Yaksho because it just sucks to sit on. Like, I would rather go chain vest, Negatron cloak, and either buy an extra Negatron cloak or buy a Warden's mail or an extra chain vest. Like, you never really want to buy the ruby crystal. It's very lame. So that would be your general build. Sunfire, Heartsteel, Ornn, and Yaksho 4th, and maybe a Knight's Vow or an Abyssal. Or Randuins. It varies from game to game, but the main thing will be Heartsteel. Heartsteels and Sunfire are your bread and butter to carrying, dealing damage, and you get a lot of tankiness. So that would be the general idea. So in melee matchups, you can go Bammy, Chain Vest, Sunfire, obviously. That's straightforward. Or if you're like behind, or if they have like a lot of auto attackers and you don't feel that aggressive, you can go Bammy, Chain Vest, and plated, or you can go Bammy Wardens and plated if you want Frozen Heart second. That's the general idea. It's like 3,000 gold, you get your Heartsteel. You don't need to rush it unless Sunfire is bad and you're fighting a range matchup. So if you're fighting a range matchup, you would go like a defensive component, like a no magic mantle, a chain vest, a Wardens, a plated steel caps, a cloth armor, and then you go Heartsteel. So like plated Wardens, Heartsteel, that's pretty straightforward. If Wardens is bad or you don't want to sit on it for too long and you want to build like Sunfire second, you can go Chain Vest, Heartsteel into Sunfire. So that is the build changes that happened. So Yaksho became a late game item, Heartsteel became good on Ornn, and the skill max order is still WEQ. They buffed E earlier in the season, so it went from 16 to 12 seconds to 14 to 12, but you still max it because E is your most important spell. It's a dash knockup and it deals more damage. Like, you always would want that the lowest possible cooldown you want, especially since they killed ability haste from most tank items. So you'd still max E. Q is just a zoning spell and a setup spell. It's not like you're gonna proc Q 10 million times and it's gonna make a difference more than proccing E twice. Hello there, viewer, this is Makkro from the future. If you want to know about like Ornn combos and the abilities and stuff, LxVer is gonna link it somewhere below, somewhere on the screen, everywhere. Link below, first line, combos there. Your main combos, triple brittle, QRER. Goodbye! As for runes, I also made the change. I no longer go Spellbook or Arcane Comet into range matchups. Instead, I go Summon Airy with Resolve Secondary. And the same thing for Phase Rush. I go Resolve Secondary as well. Overgrowth, Heartsteel, Second Wind, and the new HP scaling runes. Just when they combine together, you get so much overall health, because Overgrowth increases your max health percentage. And once you have Heartsteel, you'll obviously have a lot of it. So the Overgrowth HP will just get higher and higher. Summon Airy is really good. Why is it better than Comet and Spellbook? Well, Summon Airy, you can proc it off of W, but Makkro, you can proc Comet with W as well. Yes, but here's the thing. When you proc Comet with W, they're not slowed. If they're good, they'll just dodge the Comet and it won't hit. Whereas with Summon Airy, no matter what you do, whether it's Q, W, if they have Fleet Footwork, Swifties, it will always hit no matter what, which is what I have found to be the fix for most of these TFs with Fleet, Veins with Fleet work. It was just Summon Airy, and I just literally spit at their face with W, and they have no counterplay to it, because even if they dodge a portion of it, they'll still get damaged by Scorch as well, which really helps. And Summon Airy is also not useless later on in the game, because you can proc it off of auto attacks, which, you know, you'll get more damage than Comet even later in the game, well, more consistent damage. And that's what we were looking for. If we want to play League, we want something that's consistent, works all the time. This is the same thing. As for the tiny runes, usually it's attack speed, double HP scaling, and ability haste, double HP scaling. You never go the tenacity, because it's 10%, which is very little, and it has practically... It will impact 10% of the game, because you're not gonna spend every game CC'd, but you will spend the whole game getting damaged. So that's why the health scaling will always be active, because you'll always be taking damage, and the health will always be good. Also, having a lot of health helps your second wind. Like, the more HP you have, the more percentage your second will heal. Like, because, you know, you just have a lot of health, and it heals percentage missing health. So that's why you take every health possible item in the book. And when you're building Heartsteel, you want to build other health items to increase its damage, because they changed it. So Heartsteel no longer deals damage based on how much total health you have, which kind of sucks for like champs like Ornn, Sion, champs that just have a lot of health by nature. As for like gameplay, generally my idea of Ornn now is pretty much you're a split pusher, and you side lane for the first 40 minutes of the game, and you only group when you have ult up. If your ult is down, I'd rather just stick on the side lane, farm Heartsteel procs, farm towers, plates, look for 2v2s, skirmishes. But for team fighting, if you don't have ult, and since you have no ability haste, it kinda sucks to fight. Like, if you ult, you need to be very sure that it's a good ult usage, because your cooldown is 2 minutes, and if there is no ability haste in your build path whatsoever, like unless you go Transcendence, if you're going Summon Airy, and you have ability haste as well, you will have your ult up a lot sooner. But if you're in a melee matchup where you need Grasp, and you need attack speed, and you need Sunfire and Heartsteel, and you won't be building like an Abyssal or a Frozen Heart that give you ability haste, which, I mean, they're not that great items to build anyway. I mean, Abyssal and Frozen Heart are good, it just, their situations come with them. Like, I'd rather have Yaksha, and I'd rather have Randuin's, and I'd rather have Sunfire instead of those, because they give you like combat, you know, boosting. Like, it makes you useful in a fight a little more, especially the Sunfire, since you have so much HP. But that would be what you would be doing with Ornn. So you'd side lane, kill your laner. If you watch my videos, you will solo kill your enemy laner. If you don't, then, you know, you clearly haven't watched enough. And you want to keep high CS and just look for ults. If there are no good ults, then you just fight with Sunfire Heartsteel, just bonk people, try to scale. And the longer the game goes, the better the chances are of you winning, because of your upgrades and of your, you know, just Ornn. And the item upgrades this season also got a little bit gutted comparatively to Mythics, because last season, well, I mean, most of the games, everyone built a Mythic. Now, How Ornn upgrades work is he upgrades specific legendaries, and some just don't get upgraded at all. So like, you know, Terminus doesn't get an upgrade. Borg doesn't get an upgrade. But Yaksho gets upgrade, Guinsu gets upgrade, like some items don't, some items do. And what happens if you have 2 items that can be upgraded? Well, if you have 2 items that can be upgraded, the item will be decided by Riot. By God, it will be decided. I mean, it's the item that's closest to first slot on your inventory that will get upgraded. So let's say you have Yaksho first slot and you have Heartsteel 6th slot. The Yaksho will get upgraded because it's closest to the top left first slot on your inventory. It's not on tab, it's the one next to your spells, and you look right, that would be the inventory there. So don't like open tab and see like, oh, this guy has this item here. That one doesn't count. That would be how you'd look for upgrades. So if you ever happen to have Heartsteel and Yaksho at level 13, I don't know how you get so much gold at that point. It won't happen, but I'm just saying, have the item you want to upgrade it first slot. This goes for everyone that doesn't even play Ornn. Like, I had to put a copy pasta in every lobby because nobody knew how upgrades worked, so I just put a tier list of my own matchup sheet. Like, this item gets upgraded, please buy it, please, please. Rabadon's is still OP. Malignance is actually a decent upgrade because you get a lot of ability haste and a lot of AP. Like, yeah, you get mana, but it's still a good upgrade. Liandry is a good upgrade. Heartsteel gives HP, which is like not a terrible upgrade, but it's fine. Unending Despair, like, yeah, it'd be a good upgrade, but the item sucks. It sucks so much. And also this item, like, yeah, it'd be a good upgrade if people actually built this, i.e. S tier item upgrade. Sunder Sky, S tier, because it's broken. Spear of Shojin, S tier, because it's broken. Trinity Force is fine, but not a lot of people build it, but as an upgrade, it's okay. This is, I mean, it's a good upgrade, but the item sucks. Eclipse is just attack damage and ability haste, which is not bad. Tornado, I'd probably put it lower. It gives lethality, but it also gives, like, what? Movement speed? No, this one gives movement speed. I think it gave something else funnier. Like, it's lethality and movement speed. I think I'll put it here because it doesn't give as much lethality as it used to. Ataraxia is probably higher though, because pure lethality. Gnasher's Tooth, probably insane. On a Gwen, holy fuck. On a Gwen, it's crazy. Yaksha upgrades. If you're upgrading other tanks, it's fine. It's a good upgrade. Like, for yourself and for other tanks, it's fine. It's just as an item, you don't want it early. So for Ornn, as an upgrade, Heartsteel is superior because more damage and better item early mid game. So this is not a better item early mid game. This is a late game 3rd item, 4th item, 5th item. So but if you're upgrading other tanks, it's a good upgrade. Kraken. Attack speed, AD, really decent. Infinity Edge is better. Like, they both have the same gold of stats that they give you. It's just this gives full AD and this gives full attack speed and AD. So if there's a champion like a Samira or a Draven where they don't care about attack speed, they want the IE. But if there's a champion where they want attack speed more and they want a little bit of AD, this would be better than the IE. So like, if it's Vayne, the Vayne probably won't care too much about the Infinity Edge. The Vayne would care more about the Kraken Slayer. Stormrazor, it's a fine upgrade, but I don't think it's better than the IE. Threadbreaker is fine, but Sundered Sky and Eclipse and Black Cleaver just, I feel like, overshoot it. Locket is a decent upgrade, but it's on a support, so it's probably something you're gonna upgrade last. Shurelius is really good, and Moonstone is insane on enchanters. Protobelt is fine, doesn't get Magic Pen anymore. Riftmaker is fine. This is fine, but again, they don't give that like great stats. I mean, when you compare it to Gnasher Tooth or Rabadons, they just don't have their raw damage output. Winsu, if it's on a Cogmount of Varus, it's really good upgrade, but overall, it gives ability power. But if they have the AP scalings, it's pretty decent. Donkor, I've never seen anyone build this item in my life, so I'll just put it in B. Rod of Ages, health, mana, AP. It's fine. This, whatever. And Yomu's, I'll put it in A tier. So this probably would be the list. So it turns out the broken items are Rabadons, basically bruiser items, except Triforce. Tank items are shit upgrades. And the most broken ones are bruisers and mages and 80 carries. Shockingly, I know, but bruisers, 80 carries, and mages are just pretty much the entire game at this point. But assassins, upgrades are like, they're good, but they're not as good. Because like the sheer amount of stats you get on health, attack damage, and ability haste, and just raw AP and HP, and AP and ability haste, because I feel like it may just use ability haste so much better than other classes. AP enchanters as well, like I don't know, Lulu, Soraka, Janna. If they have very good AP scalings, I'm not sure if they do, but if there is an enchanter with good AP scalings and you upgrade them, they will fucking carry the game. Also, I've noticed that Sundered Sky, I put this on Sperm Shot once. Yeah, he carried the game. He was on support and he was tankier than me with this. So the bruiser items, I clipped Sundered Sky. They're getting nerfed, thank God. And this item is like meh. Like it could give a little better stats, but Malignance is OP and so is Rapidons. Tank items suck. Please buff them. Thank you, Riot. So Bang Cinder, this is an S tier component. If you're playing a melee tank, this is probably one of the best ones. Like other than, you know, no, it's the best one. Like there's absolutely no fucking competition for this one. Bammy Cinder, it gives you wave clear, it gives you HP, build path is good. Everything about Bammy Cinder is good. Bramble Vest. Bramble Vest builds out of cloth, 2 cloth armors, and it's a fine component. It's okay. But the build path which it leads to is with the Giant's Belt, which is not great. So like, as a component to sit on, it's like fine, but there are better ones. So Chain Vest. Chain Vest I'm putting in A tier. It's just 40 armor, 800 gold. It is the most efficient component to build to get pure fucking armor. Hell, even S tier. Like Chain Vest, it can build into so many items like Knight's Vow, Sunfire, Yaksha. It's just the build path which it offers. It's very easy to make it work. Okay, Glacial Buckler. I mean, this component, it gives you mana, which you don't want. Ability haste and cloth armor is fine, but just because it gives mana and you have to buy mana, it makes it bad. And the armor that it gives you, it's 20. Like, if they removed mana from this and just made it have an extra cloth armor, it would be a lot better. Next component, cloth armor. Cloth armor is the GOAT. It builds into everything. It's the best thing for tanks. Same thing for Ruby Crystal. Cloth armors, rubies, chain vests, all this leads into good stuff. This thing, I'm gonna put it in C tier because it's 400 extra gold. The bracer, it builds out of Ruby Crystal and Rejuve Bead, but for tanks, you don't want base health regen, you want just more HP, so you can regen more HP from the second wind rather than the Rejuve Bead. So I'm gonna put all of these in like, they're sub-optimal. Giant's Belt, B tier, it's a fine item. It's like, it's not bad. I mean, it's just HP. Later into the game, you probably don't want to be sitting on Giant's Belts. Giant Belt is more of a early game item to be sitting on. So if you're buying it early game, it's fine, early mid game. Because that's when HP is the least countered. Because there are no Burks yet. There are no LDRs. But once you hit to the later stage, it becomes a B tier component. And then no Magic Mantle, Negatron Cloak, all S tier items. Like, this is just like a way to get tanky by component maxing and not really having to build anything. Because you can just buy these real fast and fix your problems for tankiness wise. Warden's probably A tier component. It's better than Bramble. I feel like it is better than Chain Vest, but for me, I'd rather sit on Chain Vests and finish the items faster. Like if you sit on Wardens for too long, it's fine. I feel like Chain Vest is better just because it's a cheaper way to get the armor. Because 200 extra gold for the Rock Solid is fine early game, but usually you would want to build Randuins. Because Randuins, there's a lot of crit going on right now. And when there's a lot of crit going on, you want to build Randuins. Okay, this Moonplay thing, D tier component. Kindle Gem, it gives ability haste. It's really good. But the only components to build out of this is Abyssal Mask. So, I mean, like later in the game, you don't really want it. Like Heartsteel used to build out of this, it was really good. And then they just removed ability haste for most things. So for ability haste, it's really nice, the Kindle Gem. But sadly, they just decided to remove ability haste from everything. So, GG. Glowing mode, this is fine. I mean, just ability ace, whatever. Okay, now to get to the actual decent part of this list, which are the fucking items. For tank items, I think Heartsteel is fine. I mean, I'd be biased to put it S tier, but like I'll put it A tier just because it does its job overall. Yaksha as well, it does its job very good. Like, this is my vision after playing through the season for a while and experimenting with all the items, so you can compare it with what I said earlier in the season, and you can say it now. So Abyssal it's very good for just magic damage if they have a solo AP as well, but if they have solo AP, I prefer to build Yaksha and then I can build Abyssal later. But as an item, it's pretty good. Frozen Heart, it got nerfed a bunch. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It is a good item, but it got nerfed a lot, and it came back to the point where it originally was, where I wasn't building it that much because it was so expensive. So I'll put it in B tier. Locket, probably C. It doesn't make you as tanky. And the build path kind of sucks because it's just a cloth armor and no magic mantle. And you don't really want to build Locket early, you want to build Locket late in the game. So, like, there are no spots for Locket to fit on tank builds. Force of Nature, honestly, it's fine for magic resist, but Canyon Crookern is just so much better. Like, I'll put Force of Nature C tier. Hollow Radiance, D tier. You know, on the tier list, I put it as S tier, but then I realized, wait a minute. Armored champions. They fuck me up. If you go Hollow Radiance, you will need a lot of armor for the 3,000 gold you spent on a magic resist item. Like, I'd much rather go Bammies and a Negatron Cloak rather than have to build all of this just for 40 MR. Like, Bammy Negatron Cloak is tankier and it's 1900 gold than this bullshit of an item. Like, it builds off of Spectre Cowl, which, again, this is a shit item. Like, you don't want to build this. Like, it gives health regen and that's it. Not a great component, and so is mana. Mana, not a good component either. This is not a good, like, for tanks, this is all shit. You don't want to be building mana, you don't want to be building health regen, you just want to build pure stats. So Anathema, I'd put it at B or C tier because it's pure health, and I mean, there are times for it to be useful, but mainly you don't want to be sitting on a giant belt, or I think it builds out of Kindle Gem and a giant belt. So you don't want to be sitting on any of those items later in the game, because there are a lot of LDRs, a lot of armor pen, a lot of magic pen, and you'd want to counteract those. And Anathema is usually built when there's a solo AP or a solo AD. Like, it's a fine item, it's not troll, but there are just better solutions that are way cheaper, so you don't have to spend 2,500 gold. If they have a fed Draven, you can just spend a couple of chain vests and you're fine, tankiness wise. The tenacity though, that's a different thing. Dead Man's Plate, okay, this is shit. This is, I mean, Iceborne, I have never seen anyone build Iceborne other than Cassandra. And even on Cassandra, man, it's fine, but like, it's also useless, you know? I feel like it needs more tankiness or just something else. Like, make this build out of Bammy Cinder. That'd be nice. This used to build out of Bammy Cinder, but like right now as is, no tank is building this other than Cassandra. Sunfire. Okay, so Sunfire is probably S tier item. Sunfire is just good old reliable, you know? It always works, always will work. Randuin's as well, since we're in a crit heavy meta with Jinx and Xerys. Sunfire and Randuin's are pretty much, well, not Sunfire, but Randuin is probably your #1 way of dealing with Jinxes floating around in the map. Thornmail is a good item, but the build path is shit. So again, I'll have to put it in C tier. Like, it's a good item, but you know, you need the Yaksha to make it stronger. So obviously you get a lot more armor and the reflect damage gets higher. And there need to be heal cuts. So for Thornmail to be good, it could be A or S plus tier, but you need Yaksha and you need the proper build path. But in general games, it won't be good. Warmogs, okay, no tanks build this. I've seen zillions build this item more than actual tanks. Same thing with Unending Despair. I've seen bruisers build this more than actual tanks. So this is all going down in the trash. Fimbulwinter, don't even mention the fucking item, okay? Okay, maybe mention it, but like, This item is only good on Poppy and Ingenious Hunter Volibear. But other than those champs, like this is only good on Ending Despair, and this is only good with Ingenious Hunter. But there are very rare top laners that can afford to go Ingenious Hunter. I guess Poppy could go it and Volibear could go it, but they're gonna have mana issues, so Poppy probably doesn't even like it. But she goes tier, so she fixes that, so they both go tier. If you're looking at a general tank's perspective on a pure tanking, just if you want to just be thick as fuck, Kana Krookern clearly superior with the Sunfire. Like, compare the power of a tank with Sunfire and Kanek to the power of someone with Hollow Radiance and Randuin's. The guy that has Hollow Radiance and Randuin's will probably tank a little bit more physical damage from the crits, but the magic damage resistance and the damage from Sunfire does not even come close. Because the Sunfire deals so much damage, so much more damage. It has higher tick rate base, and it has the percentage increase overall. Trailblazer, I mean, I've seen only Baus build it when he does the Ramus Chain Vest maxing build. So, probably D tier, I mean, like, not a great item. I think there's one more, and it's probably Knight's Vow. Okay, so Knight's Vow is probably an S+ item because it builds out a Chain Vest. It has a very good build path, and it offers excellent peel, and it can also heal you if you put it like on a Bruiser or an AD carry. You can protect them. Like if you put this on Jinx, the Jinx will never die. I think Heartsteel and Yaksha are on similar power levels, but it just at later stages of the game. Like Yaksha is good, but later on. Heartsteel is good earlier on, but I feel like they're both like fine. But I think Heartsteel is probably built more, so I'll just leave this both in their own tiers. So probably my mistake early was probably overvaluing Hollow Radiance. And I mean, Frozen Heart was very broken early on. If it was still 2300 gold, it would probably be here, but they nerfed it so much and it gives a little armor now. So yeah, it was way too strong. Kana Krookern was strong and is still strong. The shield is insane. I mean, Kana Krookern, the nerf they did nothing. So it's still overpowered. So that'd probably be the revised 3 months into the season tier list for tank items. I'm sorry, I wasn't completely right off the fucking ball. Okay, I rated Heartsteel super low, but it got buffed twice. I rated it low and then it got buffed twice. So if anything, I made Heartsteel get buffed, and I made Ornn better because he goes Heartsteel now. So if you think of it, I saved you, because I said it was a bad item and it got buffed twice, along with Sunfire. I said it was bad too. I said Hollow Radiance was bad too. They didn't buff it. Please, if there's a rider watching this, buff the item, please. It's completely terrible. Make it build out an Negatron Cloak and make it have 60 MR. Or maybe more, I don't know. I don't think I would build this even if it gave 60 MR. Maybe 70? Am I shooting too high? I think I'm shooting too high. Okay, well, just buff it some way, please. Okay, so first matchup. Aatrox, very hard. The thing is, Aatrox has so much poke, he has so much healing, and you can't even go Bramble Vest against him, because a good Aatrox will always just fight you with Q. The only thing you can do is buy 2 Chain Vests and the Banish Cinder, and good luck. Next matchup, Ahri. Ahri's honestly, like if you're fighting a good Akali, not Ahri, it could be a skill matchup, but usually Akali is just something you stat check. Like once you buy a lot of HP and a little bit of magic resistance, she doesn't really kill you. Like once you have a wave sorted and you just get past through the level 1 and level 6, she really just isn't a threat. She doesn't split push, she isn't a tank killer. So I'll put her as easy or medium. Like if the Akali's really good, it's a medium matchup, but your average Akali, hell, even good Akalis, I don't really struggle against her too much. Like you just gotta be careful of her level 6 all-in and her dashing all over the screen and giving you a seizure. But other than that, I don't really see Akali being a threat. Next up is Akshan. Akshan is actually, I would put it at hard or medium, but he's like after level 6, it's a medium matchup, but due to the nature of Akshan, he pokes you so much early and is just so annoying early game. And he has a shield. So the only way you would kill Akshan would be you poke him and you bait out his shield, and then you triple brittle him if he's disrespecting you. I mean, obviously you go Wardens and the plated steel caps and he doesn't deal damage to you, but until that point it's pretty hard. So it's a hard / medium matchup. Like, it gets easier as the game goes on, and then he gets a Bork or a Kraken, and then gets harder, then gets easier. I would put it like a little all over the place, but generally I feel like the Ornn has to try harder to win than the Akshan for him to win, so I'll put him as hard. Okay, some might call this like controversial, but I've never lost into Camille in my entire life. Ever since Divine Thunder got removed, I have not struggled at all into her. Like, I just go Sunfire and Heartsteel and she needs legit 20 Qs to kill me. She became super easy. Like, I didn't know that Divine Thunder was holding her this hard, but yeah, without Divine, she's legit useless. Cassiopeia is actually a very hard matchup for Ornn, because of the way of how much damage she does, how much DPS she has, and how she can counter your triple brittle combo with her W grounded, so you can't E nor ult, you can't do the headbutt, and because of her ult just, well, stunning you. Like, it is winnable, of course, but it is very hard for Ornn to win comparing to how much the Cassiopeia has to try. But she's picked rarely, so it's not that big of a deal. Cho'Gath matchup, very easy. You just press W on him, you spit on him, you press brittle, and he dies. Not complicated matchup. Darius is before buffs he would be an easy / medium matchup, but then he got his Z buffed and his Q missing HP buff. So I think he's hard even with phase rush. He's a little annoying because he just heals so much with the Q if he does land it. And he's just an overall anti-tank. I can still pull off the matchup, obviously, you know, but it's still difficult to get one kill on Darius and to make the lane sort of even. Next matchup would probably be Mundo. I feel like Mundo is a medium matchup. It's not one where you win very hard, but it's not one where you lose either. It just, you both stack Heartsteel, handshake the lane, and you just kind of sit there and just flip the better team. Whoever gets the better team wins. Fiora, well, okay, we all know where she's going. So yeah, the next matchup would be Gwen and probably Illaoi. Okay, well, Gwen is actually not as bad as Illaoi. Like, it's a bad matchup, yes. I mean, no, it's totally easy. If you check the matchup sheet, Gwen is a very easy to play. And actually, Fiora as well, you know. Gwen is very easy. Yeah, you totally win this. You totally win this matchup. Fiora as well. Yeah, you win it, of course. See, look, you win the matchup, obviously. You win the matchup. But as I was saying, Fiora, Gwen, Illaoi, all these champions just counter Ornn so incredibly hard. Gwen's W allows her to just completely rail your combos. And what a good Gwen does is she presses W before she goes for an EQ, and that way she gets an EQ and you cannot trade back. So if she does that on repeat, she will just snip you, and you can't attack her back because she will be at the edge of her circle, and you won't be able to actually deal damage to her. And she does true damage, she has dashes, she has healing. Annoying. Illaoi, Fiora, these creatures. Fiora counters your whole kit. Illaoi has too much damage. You need to play it completely perfect. Dodge the E. They're just impossible matchups that if you win, it's not because, oh, Ornn is broken. It's because the enemy played it so bad and you played it absolutely perfect to win. Gangplank. Honestly, Gangplank, I don't think he's a very hard matchup. I have not seen, unless it's Solar Baka. But even then, Gangplank is just not that strong right now. I don't think he's that OP. I've seen him rarely. Like, the only thing he does is he can proc First Strike and farm gold off of you and eventually outscale. But if you have a jungler, I feel like you can just easily kill him and dive him. Like, he's not the safest. Like, he has to play super behind for Ornn to care. because he'll just outscale at some point, but you scale as well, so it's not really a problem. And since you have so much HP from just building the Heartsteel and the Sunfire, and you can go Randuns as well, that type of build counters his flat true damage as well. So I would put Gangplank as easy or medium matchup if he's good, but generally I don't feel threatened by him. Garen as well is a matchup similar to Mundo, where neither of you kill each other, but they become annoying later on by split pushing. But if you do good in lane, you can hold the split push. Next matchup, Gnar. Gnar actually used to be a medium matchup, but it became harder due to the removal of unflinching. So since you no longer have unflinching, you can't stop his slows and stuns anymore. Like, yes, you could build a slow and tenacity shard in runes, but it's not really enough to stop Gnar from being annoying to you. And he goes Fleet Footwork as well, which makes him just have a lot of healing. And he just takes your towers and ignores you. So overall, as a matchup, like, you build armor and you build a bit of HP, but it doesn't matter because it's W this max HP magic damage. So it's a hard matchup. Like, it's not a hard stomping matchup, but he just split pushes and is annoying. Similar to Garen and Mundo, except he's a bigger threat than them because he's actually decent in team fighting. If he can go Mega Gnar, of course. Gragas is also a matchup where it's not a matchup where you get stomped, but it's not a matchup where you kill him very easily unless you flash his ultimate in like a faker outplay, flash ult, just completely just amaze everyone in your match. Irelia, I feel like it's a medium matchup. I haven't really seen her too much. I really just think Irelia is doing really badly right now. Unless she goes mid, then she's fine. But in top lane, I really don't feel like she's that strong, so I'll put her in medium matchup. Jax as well. The removal of Divine Sunder, similar to Camille, just made him so much easier of a matchup to match later on as well. I really feel like he doesn't have the sustain nor the sustained damage to kill you. Jace, I would put Jace in medium or slightly hardish or top of medium. A good Jace can be a pain in the ass, but most Jaces won't. Like, you just build a couple of armor, and he won't really deal damage with his Qs, but he'll just deal damage. The only thing that fucks you up is his Hammer Form E and Hammer Form W, where he does magic damage. You can't really itemize, and you're not building magic resist against Jace because you're going to be more worried about the lethality and the Muramana and the Eclipse passives rather than the E, but the E still hurts a bunch. Okay, Karma top. This matchup is actually, like, it's Karma top. Whoever plays this deserves certain punishments. Some punishments that I won't speak. I won't speak on them, but you know what I mean. Karma is a matchup where she just pokes you, has no mana problems because she goes like Summon Area or Comet, and then she goes like Cookies or some shit. Like, she just goes a lot of mana stuff. Kayle, very easy matchup. You just rush Heartsteel, she deals no damage, you poke her, you kill her, you walk up to her. I've never struggled against a Kayle ever. And she doesn't even outscale you, is the funny part. Like, as a scaling tank, you beat her a lot in lane. And you outscale, because you can go Heartsteel, Kanik, you can go Yaksho after for armor and magic resist. Like, it's just not a threat. Kennen's somewhat difficult of a lane. Because, again, it's a ranged top that goes Fleet Footwork and just kind of runs around like a rat and doesn't take proper trades. So it's a hard matchup, but it is winnable. The only problem is he can one-shot your team later on, which is whatever. Kled, I'll put Kled in medium matchup or easy. This is just a matchup that once you get a couple of armor and HP, like, as long as you survive the early game dives and Kled shenanigans, you just outscale him and he's pretty much worthless. Xanta has gotten so many changes. He went from a very hard creature matchup to just a easy, just complete boring, no interaction at all matchup. Like, he used to be so skill expressive, he used to have so many combos, flashy stuff that he can do, and now he just sits there and just builds Hollow Radiance or just builds Magic Resist. And you just kind of both just chill. So yeah, I think this is where I put Cassandra. Either easy or medium if you're fighting good Cassandra, but that's rare. Okay, Malphite, very easy. Nobody plays Malphite, but he's a AD armor tank against a magic resist. You know, Ornn. Mordekaiser, I put Mordekaiser at medium or slightly hard because of his ultimate. But I feel like I'll put him in hard just because the way his ult functions and your ult functions. And most people can't really do the trick where, you know, you ult and Mordekaiser ults you and then you W. Like, it takes more effort from the Ornn to kill the Mordekaiser. Olaf? Okay, Olaf is very hard matchup. He counters your entire kit. And he's unstoppable, he can chase you down, he goes Ravenous Hydra, he has insane sustain. It's just a very, very tough matchup for you to do a lot of interacting without just him healing to full off of one wave. Poppy as well, I'm gonna put in very hard. She's one of the few tanks that, I'm sorry, she goes Fimbulwinter, Sundered Sky, and Eclipse. She's a tank, my bad, my bad. Nasus I feel like is an easy medium matchup if he outscales you, but I feel like he's similar to like a Kayle or a Camille or any scaling top laner that if you don't punish them, they will become hard later on. But in the early game, you can bully them so much, you can poke them so much and CC them. Like, even if you get stacks, you have pure knockups, which you cannot tenacity through, so I'll put him in easy. Oh god, Sperm Shot matchup. This is the most difficult champ to fight in the game. He's broken as super broken. No, I'm kidding. Pantheon, I mean, Pantheon is a skill matchup. Like, whoever wins this is just a better player. I don't think the Pantheon matchup is a matchup where you... like, the only counterplay for Pantheon is to E one of your brittles, but once you get level 6, if he E's one brittle, you'll just follow it up with your ult. So, Quinn, I'll put Quinn in easy because if she uses E, she dies, she has no ultimate, you build armor, she deals no damage. It's just a very simple poke and all-in matchup. Like, she can roam, but that's it. Rumble. Okay, Rumble is part of the creatures here. Yeah, probably one of the toughest AP matchups you could get is Rumble because he has so much damage. Renekton's an easy / medium matchup because he can heal, but you can just have poke him and outscale him. It's very simple. The only counterplay he has is dodging your brittle with his dashes, but that's it. Set as well is going to be like a medium matchup. Like, it's a skill one, but it's way easier for the Ornn to play to win than for the Set. Once Ornn gets a Sunfire or like a Chain Vest Underplated and a Bammies, he can't really play. Like, once Ornn gets a couple of items, Set, his only counterplay is like stopping your ult with his E and his own ultimate and just fucking you up with just outskilling you and picking good trades. But most Sets and Renektons, like, they're very simple to fight. Very simple matchup. Shen, I'd actually put it as a little bit hard, level 1 through 6, just because of, you know, his trading power. But after level 6, it becomes obviously a lot easier and a skill matchup for you. But throughout that part, it is pretty hard for the Ornn. That's why you need the bomb plating to stop his all-ins with at level 2. And he just has pretty decent trades. He can use the W to block your brittle, which can be super annoying. So I'll put Shen as like hard. Like, it doesn't belong in medium, but it doesn't belong super high in the hard tier list. So I'll put it over here. Rek'Sai top. Okay, so this matchup, he has so much sustain. She has so much sustain that you can't really kill her. And she has so much damage. Like, it is very broken. Rek'Sai top, it is not something you want to fight. Riven, I'll put Riven at medium. She's not really a hard matchup. Like, she can all-in you level 6, but usually you go even into this and you outscale. Rengar top, okay, this is a cheese matchup. Like, it's hard, but like, it's Rengar top, so it's hard for everyone because he has insane healing. So yeah, I just put him hard just because of the healing and you run out of mana trying to kill him. Skarner top. Okay, Skarner top is actually probably another part of the creatures because he has such insane damage and he's a lot tankier. He's basically Ornn if Ornn was made 7 years later, because Ornn already has % max HP magic damage, but this guy has % max HP magic damage and physical damage. and he can also stun you out of your ults and your combos. So I'd put him in the creature material just because of how, well, I won't say overpowered, but I will just say that he's insanely overpowered. He has 54% win rate, top lane. And that's with people building him wrong most of the time and going in suboptimal runes in Master Plus. So next top laner, Sion. I'm gonna put him in easy because it's a farm outscale matchup. Same thing with Singed, same thing with Tahm Kench. Like, these matchups are just like they proxy, or you stand behind waves and you just farm and just you fight through waves. Warwick is actually a very hard matchup. It's super Warwick sided because he has so much healing and so much damage, and his Q does magic damage. So again, it's hard to itemize. So against Warwick, I go like armor and magic resist. I don't buy HP. And I just try to survive the lane because his health pool means nothing. His health pool isn't real. It's a fake health pool. Sylas, I mean, if they pick Sylas top, it could be medium matchup, skill matchup. It's annoying, but after you get a couple items, it becomes very easy. Tryndamere, I'm gonna put that, like, it's a easy matchup. He just kind of proxies and split pushes and is annoying, but you should be able to win it. Udyr top is probably an annoying matchup to fight. It's not easy for the Ornn because he has so much sustain and he can proxy as well and buy Liandry, which again he can lose, of course, but it's way harder for the Ornn to win than comparing to how easy it is for the Udyr. Urgot actually hasn't been that bad this season, but you can still just do the classic Warden's plated steel caps and you poke him to death. So I'll put him in medium. Teemo with fleet footwork can be really annoying, but it's not like it's a skill matchup mostly. It's spacing. Like, who has the better spacing wins. If the Ornn has good spacing and he gets a lot of poke, Teemo can really play. But if Teemo goes fleet forward against Swifties, he can be annoying, but Ornn generally outscales him. Trundle I'll put as like a medium matchup. Ornn just gets a bunch of armor and a couple of heal cuts, and Trundle just kind of gets one shot. His ult can be a problem, his split pushing can be a problem, but the laning phase is not a problem for me. Volibear actually got a couple of pretty good buffs, so I'll put him a little higher. He's not super hard, but he does win in the short trades and the long trades. So, but you do outscale him super hard and you're way more useful in team fights. So for the pure laning phase, he's harder to fight because they buffed his Q and his ultimate cooldown. And they changed around his E, I think. I played a lot of Volibear. I had a tiny arc on him. So I played both sides of the matchup, and it does feel really good for the Volibear and terrible for the Ornn. Vayne top. Okay, Vayne top goes into the very hard list. Vayne top got buffs. She got bonus movement speed a while back on her passive, and people start realizing that they can go Nimbus Cloak and Fleet Footwork and Swifties on Vayne. And after that, the matchup became awful. It used to be medium, but when people made the swap over to Fleet Footwork instead of Lethal Tempo and they went Nimbus Cloak, it just became hell. They can still go Wardens and play it and like survive, but it feels really bad to play against for sure. Varus top. So many of these matchups. Fleet Footwork, Abusers, he goes Barrier. So much damage in his kit, you need to buy so much armor and magic resist. A lot of magic resist, surprisingly, even if he goes Bork. His W does max HP magical damage. Twisted Fate top, I'd put along with the Vayne and the Varus. Fleet Footwork, Flash Ghost, Abusers. Hard to catch, hard to outtrade, hard to itemize. I guess Vayne is easy to itemize, but she does true damage. These guys deal max damage. So you'll always be behind in items, even if you're the same gold as them, because they just deal max damage. Okay, Yone I'd put at hard because of the way his W shield works. He can block out a lot of damage. It's a very, very difficult matchup for the Ornn, I feel. Like, Ornn can go plated steel caps, but it usually is never enough. Like, he becomes a side lane menace. Hard to outscale him on the side lane as well. Just a generally not the easiest matchup for Ornn. Okay, Yorick I'll put in as medium slash hard because he's again Ornn sucks fighting split pushers. As you can notice, most of these champions do very well on the split push, and Yorick is just another one of those, except he's more gimmicky, and if you kill his maiden he has a lot of cooldowns on it, but you can destroy his cage, which makes the matchup not hard but medium, because the only counterplay is you can destroy his cage and knock him up with it. Okay, next matchup is Vladimir. Vladimir top is it's a decently hard matchup, but nobody plays Vladimir top, so I probably won't put it in there. Smolder top, that pick was AIDS, but I haven't seen people pick it anymore, so it would be very hard. But since nobody's picking it anymore, I'm not gonna make people pick Smolder top again by putting it in the video. I guess I already did, but stay away from me. Range top, please go away. Yasuo, I'll put him easy. Comparatively to his wind shit brother, that is Yone, that has no skill shots, Yasuo actually takes skill. Well, I mean, Yone takes skill, obviously, but way less than Yasuo. And Yasuo doesn't get a shield on command. Briar top, I mean, unless you're fighting Drutor, it would be a medium slash easy matchup. I don't think any of these champions are real top laners. Like, Swain is annoying, Ryze could be annoying, but again, nobody picks these, so I don't think it's worth putting. So yeah, that'll be the entire matchup tier list. If I review this, there are 3 very easy matchups. A couple of, like, Camille being down here doesn't feel right with me, but they gutted her, so... Like, as you can see here, there's a lot of Kanka, a lot of AIDS shit. A lot of cancer, man. There's so much bad stuff. Like, holy. If I had to fight every single one of these for an entire 3 months, I would go insane. Oh wait, I did, and I did go insane. I lost my This looks very bad to fight. Like, all these champions, none of them are fun. Like, even Jace in high elo is like really bad to fight. Gragas is annoying as well. Like, I could put Jace and Gragas down here, honestly. And I could put Sedra and Necton, they're fine there. Teemo and Hylo could be annoying as well. Like, they're not, like, these champions that are easy to beat, they're never picked. And if they're picked by one-tricks or people that just like playing them. But yeah, this is the top lane meta now. It's really, really, really annoying. So yeah, that would be it. Goodbye. You're welcome. Makkro again dropping educational content for free. I mean, yeah, for free. Well, what am I, cookie? But anyways, Heartsteel second is the GOAT. Okay, so I went through mid game. I went through runes. What else is left? Follow my Twitch channel. I play Ornn, I guess. Goodbye. 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 Like the video, or I'll take all your elo.
You like that? I do.